What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Jump. Dr. Umar Johnson is in some level of disagreement with Dr. Umar Johnson. He recently went over to the Joe Budden podcast. He was asked about this interview that was done on TV One, also posted to Roland Martin's YouTube channel. It garnered 7 million views. And basically he's saying that, listen, Roland Martin set me up on that interview, and he's a punk, and basically because he did that, all of my fan base pretty much ignored Roland Martin. So that year he had to get canceled because all of my fans disliked how he treated me, which you're going to hear Dr. Umar Johnson talk about in a moment. Roland Martin came out and made a video, which some of it we'll show today, that pretty much disproved all of that. Okay, tactically went line by line, showing emails. He showed that Dr. Umar Johnson was not attacked or blindsided. He showed that Dr. Umar Johnson, in fact, was alerted to what the topics were on the day of the show. Dr. Umar Johnson had all the information. He proved that without a doubt, right? Once he proved that Dr. Umar Johnson was not telling the truth, Dr. Umar Johnson released this video.
First of all, let me say this. I understand that Zesty Roland Martin. I understand Zesty Roland Martin, who I got kicked off of News One Now for hating. His views dropped and he got dropped. When Zesty Roland Martin had me on News One Now with his panel of coons, after that showing, the Dr. Umar Ifatunde support base Germaniac Nation, the Ifatunde Acts, boycotted Roland Martin's show on News One Now. His views dropped and they dropped him. Zesty Rolanda fell off after he tried to come for the Prince of Pan-Africanism. His views dropped and News One Now dropped that receding hairline. No, I'ma deal with Rolanda when I get back to the States after Panama. I'ma deal with Zesty Rolanda. I'ma deal with that Democratic Party plantation slave driver when I get back from Panama, but I'm not going to deal with Zesty Rolanda right now. I'm not going to deal with Zesty Rolanda right now. I'm going to deal with Zesty Rolanda a little bit later. Okay? Now I see Vlad put up another clip with Mav Hoffa with my name in the clip. I don't think that was respectful of him to try to use that brother to try to attack me, but I see he put my name in another Mav Hoffa clip. I'm gonna check out the clip and respond if I need to.
Now, I do want to play this particular clip that comes after that for Roland Martin, and then we'll come back.
Between when Umar came on and when the show was over, we met or exceeded the ratings when he was on. So Umar, I know this hurts your fragile ego, but you literally had nothing, zero, absolutely zero to do with the show getting canceled. We literally moved on the next day. You are not that important. And I know that messes with your ego, but it's true. If you actually think you are the reason why the show ended, when Alfred Liggins said point blank, our show was a $5 million nut right there on the Excel spreadsheet. And it was easier to cut $5 million out of the budget to meet his financial target. And that's why the show got canceled. So here's the whole deal. Stop lying. Stop running around with your big ego and making stuff up. Go build your school. Go teach the students. Keep running your mouth on social media. Go give speeches. What you're not going to do is keep lying about what happened on the show, because everything that you said was a flat out lie, Umar. It was a lie then, and it's a lie now. Now, Matt, the reason I decided to take the time to do this here, because it's clear that what we have going on, we got people who love to just make up stuff. And I hate dealing with mess, but the problem I have is this here, and I've always said this here, and when I went on the Breakfast Club, I said this here to Charlamagne, DJ Envy, and Angela Yee. I have great respect for the microphone. Because what I understand is that what comes out of your mouth and comes through this microphone then goes to the public, and the public can choose to believe it or not believe it. And it's incumbent upon anybody who has a microphone to have respect and reverence for the microphone and not make shit up. You a lawyer.
Okay, so now I'm not a big fan of Roland Martin. I'm really a bigger fan of Dr. Umar Johnson, although I do not like the things that Dr. Umar Johnson talks about when it comes to a lot of the self-aggrandizing, and he's the best black orator of the 20th century, things like that, which don't need to be discussed, especially when you're a Negro who doesn't do anything or get anything accomplished. But I want to deal with the delusion of Dr. Umar Johnson and who he thinks he is and who he really is. And this is a big problem in the black world. We have so many brothers and sisters who honestly believe that somebody cares about them, or they have more powers or more influence than what they have, when it is clear that they don't. And so what happens because of this, we as subscribers, you basically donate money to people like this. They feel like they don't need to do anything because they have an inflated ego. And so they continue year after year after year, adding no real value to the black world because they believe somehow in their mind that they are like a godlike figure or they are something incredible. This is the same problem that's happening with Tiffany Henyard over in Dalton, Illinois. She feels like she is better than everybody else. Now, when such things happen or such things occur, people look stupid. You look silly. And Dr. Umar Johnson was talking all about himself, talking about Rolandisha, but you notice that in that clip, he never addressed any of the things that he was accused of. I'll wait until I get to back home and deal with you. But then he went on that same rant talking about the Congo, talking about everything else. The reality is Dr. Umar Johnson doesn't have any plausible explanation for the things he lied about. And guess what? He doesn't have any plausible explanation on everything he's lied about. He's the guy that just can't stop lying. And because he has fans and because people are interested in what he's going to say, I don't even really believe he has real fans as much as he's very intelligent and he's polarizing. But nobody takes Dr. Umar Johnson serious. He's a train wreck. And because we have such a level of low expectations and execution in Black America, people can believe they are a Negro top scholar based on what they talk about and never based on what they produce. This is how bad it is. This is why you get so many people. There's a situation here in East Africa where you have a pastor who has, he's one of the top pastors here in East Africa. For 10 years, he's been trying to build a church, allegedly. He built his own self a big mansion. His church members right now are having church outside. So imagine when it rains, they're in tents, muddy shoes, muddy sandals. Imagine all of that sliding and sliding. Okay, out there extremely dusty each and every day. That is what is going on here. And people like that, if they're in any other community, you would have to feel like they would get rid of that person. Wait a minute, hold on. You're taking the people's money and you're not executing what we're saying. Okay, that individual has to be out. That is not what we do in the black world. Such an individual is, well, as long as he talks well, he doesn't even need to make any sense. That's why a lot of people join these black cults and they get all this money and things. And, people with the normal mind, like, how do they do this? Because we don't expect that anybody should do anything the correct way when it comes to the black sector. We just don't. We feel like let people do whatever the hell they want to do. And goddamn it, if they do that, who gives a shit? Long as he can talk good, just like in the church. Girl, that pastor sure did preach today. Well, what did he preach about? Baby, I don't know, but he sure did preach. Well, you don't know what you're talking about? Listen, I don't need to know. That boy was preaching. And it don't matter if the pastor got girlfriends in the church, or even today, boyfriends in the church. We know what happened with James Hall a few years ago. Far as I know, James Hall was exposed for he was pretending to be a heterosexual gospel musician. James Hall was proven that he was talking about daddy's packing and he can't wait for you to move to New York City from North Carolina. He had all these suspect pictures. He looked at Dusty, right? And guess what? When you look at James Hall, God Wants a Yes, which is a very popular song in contemporary gospel, he's still playing extremely still non-heterosexual, if you know what I'm talking about. Extremely gay. And it doesn't matter that he said he was straight and he clearly wasn't. It doesn't matter, you see, because in the black world, all that you need to do is to continue to lie about everything. But as long as you can sound articulate or you have a particular skill, we'll ignore all of that. Then we want to talk about why our communities are so ran in shambles, why we don't have any development. Because we don't have a developmental mindset. We're not looking for that. We're looking for dusty stuff. So once we get it, we get upset about it. Don't get upset about it. This is what we wanted. We want it to be dusty, okay? We want to keep lying, so we need to admit that this is what we want. We don't have any intention on being good in the community. We want to dust it up. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy, Shady Jackson, back at it again with another episode of the Celebrity Junkie. For all you do, serve the bell. We're out.